explaining to me something about what may or may not be problematic.
Yes, Your Honour. The only potentially problematic issue is that the applicant's second last email forwarded her submissions in reply to our submissions. They were to be filed and served by the 7th of July this year. However, they had been filed. They were filed on the 8th of July. However, I was only provided with a copy of them this morning, and I've worked my way through about 3/4 of them, Your Honour. But I think we should continue to proceed in any event. And if there are some issues that
there
require
may be an issue. Well, there may be an issue about that because the plaintiff says that she hasn't received your court book.
That has been emailed to the plaintiff and contains pretty much identical documents to a
Mr. Cale, can I just stop you?
Yes.
Whether it contains pretty much identical documents is not to the point. But your position is that you have emailed that to the plaintiff, is that right?
Yes, Your Honour.
Well, thank you. Ms. Choi, you have made a complaint that you have not received the defendant's court book. The defendant says that that material has been emailed to you.
Oh, exactly, Your Honor. I am in Korea.
Just a moment, Ms. Choi. Would you not shout, please?
Oh, sorry.
I can hear you quite clearly, but just speak normally if you would. There's no need to shout. We can hear you quite clearly across the link.
I'm sorry, I bought a new mic yesterday for this hearing, so the mic is working very well. So can you, my voice, can you understand?
Yes, I can. You can proceed.
Oh,
now, the defendant, just a moment. The defendant says that it has emailed you a court book, or its court book.
The defendant said so. The defendant emailed me. They emailed the court book to me, but however, I have not received. I have not received the court book. Probably the maybe, I just guess maybe the size is too big or maybe other problems. So I requested the respondent to regarding the court book, but I have not received any reply. The second problem is
just a moment. We will deal with one issue at a time.
Yes, sorry.
Mr. Cale, when was the material provided?
The court book was emailed to the applicant on Wednesday, the 14th of July at 12:22 p.m. our time. There's been no bounce back email, and the court book was not voluminous, so there would have been no issues with the size of the file attached to that email.
Is that the same volume of material that's been provided to me?
Yes, Your Honour, in both hard copy and electronic form.
Thank you. Well, Ms. Choi, the defendant says that they've emailed it to you 6 days ago.
Your Honor, yes, I heard. Probably, the respondent emailed me. However, there is a big problem from Australia to Korea about the website, Justice website. This Justice website is blocked. The traffic is blocked, networking.
Well, it's not blocked at the moment.
Yes, it's blocked.
You're clearly online at the moment.
Yes, now it is today is online because I'm using the VPN. It's a special instrument, but I can prove it because each time I email Mr. Cahill, that email returned to me. All the emails sent to the Mr. Cahill returned to me. I have evidence. So even though Mr. Cahill sent me the huge court book, I have not received. Another point is Your Honor.
Just a moment. I will give you an opportunity to raise other issues in a moment. I
Yes.
will deal with one
Sorry.
issue at a time. Secondly, Mr. Carl, do you have what the plaintiff has referred to as her court book?
I have 2 copies of it, Your Honour. One received by email direct from the applicant earlier this morning, and one received by the department from her in early April. So yes, I have it.
And can you assist me? How big is it?
The applicant's court book is approximately 3,300 pages of material. The one I have filed and served on behalf of the Secretary, Your Honour, is approximately 460 pages.
Yes, I understand that. And I am inferring that under cover of the 26 emails that my associate has received this morning, or attached to one or more of those emails, is the 3,000 pages of it.
Yes, Your Honour, that seems to be the case.
Right. Ms. Choi, you wanted to raise another issue with me. What is it?
Yes, Your Honor. I expected a copy or hard copy of the court book from the respondent. That's what the registrar, Ms. Jones, requested. But the respondent didn't attempt to or didn't try even post the copy. That is another issue. But for me, I at least tried to post my court book. It cost me a lot, but just it returned because the Sydney blocked down and the coronavirus in Korea is so serious. It is a 4th stage. The children cannot go to the school, and then many shops are shut down. In this situation,
Just a moment, what's that got to do with your court book?
because I got my court book to post to this court, and at the same time the office of the counsel of the general counsel, the respondent to legal representative, but they returned. But it's not my fault. That is the coronavirus fault. And Sydney is the shutdown. That's why I emailed this morning, and then for several days, and then I requested between 14 and yesterday I discussed, and then I requested this court to print some of the relevant material. I said I could reduce the quote book. I know that is 3,000, but however, I can reduce the half of the size.
Well, you've emailed that to my associate between about 8:15 and 9 o'clock this morning.
Yes.
I have not printed out 3,300 pages.
Yes, no time.
And I certainly, just a moment, and I certainly haven't been given an opportunity to read what is in that material.
Your Honor, I have been so
Yes.
frustrated. I have been so frustrated because this matter is so serious to me. That is my life-changing matter. But I can reduce the material, the quote book, because one of the significant thing is the justice, the court of appeal, the Justice White, and other 2 justice,
No,
the owners.
Ms. Choi,
Oh.
don't engage in that. That has nothing whatsoever.
Yes, sorry, Your Honor.
It has nothing whatsoever to do with anything that I have to determine.
Yes, Your Honor. So
yes.
could you please grant leave to reduce the quote book then? So because the respondents, the notice of decision is 849 pages already. 849 pages plus maybe 500 pages or 300 pages. At least your owner needs the copy of the notice of decision produced by the respondent. but your owner doesn't have. And yeah, so please, your owner needs, this court needs the note print of hard copy of the notice of decision, 849 pages by, by the respondent. So please give me leave.
Ms. Choi, this case is listed for hearing today.
List hearing for 2 days?
No, the case is listed for hearing today, now.
Yes, but however, your owner, I request so many times from 14 July until yesterday regarding the court book. I raised the issue so many times, but I have not received any reply. What can I do? Nothing I could do. And then I even thought to fly to Australia, but however, 2 week there is a two week isolation period. This matter is so serious. I wish to go back to Australia after resolving all the problems. Please give me.
Mr. Cale, there seems to me to be a problem in relation to, or arising from the fact that the plaintiff is asserting to me that she doesn't have the material that you say has been forwarded. And if I interpret what the plaintiff is saying, it seems that she is applying for an adjournment. What do you wish to say about either or both of those issues?
In respect to the first issue, Your Honour, it is true. We did not post a hard copy of our court book to the applicant. That has not been something that is matter at all. I don't think we've received a hard copy of anything from the applicant, despite her protestations to have mailed things. There was certainly no direction from Registrar Jones on the occasion the court books were directed that they had to be served in hard copy form.
No, I understand that. But I'm placed in a position at the moment where the applicant is asserting to me that she doesn't have material which is germane to the issues that I have to determine. That places me in a very difficult position. At the same time, I am, having read the material, I am mindful of the history of the matter. And this is something that, a matter that has to be resolved, and has to be resolved quickly.
If I may, Your Honour,
Yes.
in respect of your point about the applicant not having the material, the applicant has all the material necessary for the hearing to proceed. The material has been provided to her on numerous occasions. I hear what Your Honour says about the fact that the Secretary's court book containing the same documents as the applicant's court book is not something Your Honour wishes to take further, but I mean it is evidence that both parties have copies of the same documents. If we were to boil down this matter to a number of key documents, it would be approximately 8 documents. And both parties...
I understand that, Mr. Cale. I've read the material. Equally, I'm dealing with a litigant in person.
Your Honor, I have a solution.
What?
Your Honor, I could suggest maybe your Honor could judge on papers. Judge on papers after we file and seal our materials.
All right, Mr. Cale, what do you say about that?
everything we rely on has been filed and served.
And your
Your Honour,
submissions, your submissions are comprehensive.
Thank you, Your Honour. I don't think we have a great deal more to say. The only thing I would foreshadow is, and it would be at the risk of sparking another round of submissions, was a response.
We don't want to do that. We don't want to do that, Mr. Carl.
I hear Your Honour.
I don't want to preclude you from putting anything to me, but we wouldn't want to spark anything further unless you considered that the interests of justice rendered that absolutely necessary.
So, Your Honor.
Just a moment, Ms. Choi.
Oh, sorry.
I'll come back to you in a moment.
Sorry.
Mr. Carl, would you be content to rely on the material that you've provided?
Yes, Your Honour. I mean,
Right.
if Your Honour requires any further assistance.
No, I've read as I say, I've read your submissions. They're comprehensive, and I think I understand the issues. Ms. Choi, do I take it from what you've said that if I give you an opportunity to provide the material that you wish to rely on, that you'll be content to deal with the matter on the papers without a further hearing? Is that correct?
Yes, but Your Honor. But however, could you please give me leave to file the hearing, the audio recording hearing of the tribunal?
I don't understand that.
Yesterday.
Just a moment. You told me a moment ago.
Yes.
That your solution was to deal with this matter on the papers.
Yes, on the paper.
Right, is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Right, and just so that we can be very clear.
Yes.
When you say on the papers, what you're saying to me is that you're happy for me to deal with this matter without a further hearing, providing I give you the opportunity to submit your court book. Is that right?
Oh, sorry. Could you please, sorry.
Sure. You're telling me that you're content for me to deal with this on the papers. Is that correct?
Yes.
And by that, you mean that if I give you an opportunity to file whatever material that you want to rely on, you're happy for me to resolve the matter on the papers without coming back to the court. Is that right?
Yes.
All right. How long do you want to provide your material?
Your Honor, I would like to ask. Yesterday, I received the audio recording hearing file. Yesterday, the audio recording from the produced by the tribunal. But could you please give me leave for me to file the audio recording, not transcription, because I don't have money. It cost me a lot. However, I can give you the link of the hearing. So the hearing will show the members at the tribunal gave incorrect information.
All right, just a moment. Mr. Carl, you have, and this might spark the very thing that we were trying to avoid, but in any event, I take it that the applicant wants to rely on the audio hearing of the proceedings before the tribunal. Do you have any objection to that if I give you an opportunity to respond to it?
We're happy for the applicant to provide to the court if that is her wish. We don't have a copy ourselves, however, Your Honour, so perhaps if we could be copied in on the email that forwards the link, or if a copy could be provided to us.
All right. Ms. Choi, assuming that I give you the opportunity to put that and any other material that you want the court to rely on to the court, how much time do you want to file all of that material.
Please give me 4 weeks, and also I wish the respondent to provide me the quote book, divided quote book, the smaller size.
Just a moment, one thing at a time. Mr. Kale, is it an option for your client to mail the court book?
We can mail it to the last known address we have for the applicant, Your Honour. My only difficulty with that is that how do we prove she's received it if we have these constant claims of not receiving things? I mean, it's odd that an email to the applicant would not be received, whereas I've received 26 alone this morning.
It's very odd, Mr. Kale, and I acknowledge that. There are just a moment.
Some form of registered post, Your Honour.
I'm thinking that. Just bear with me.
Your Honor, what is the issue now? Current issue?
The issue, just a moment, Ms. Choi, please.
Sorry.
Mr. Kale, the solution or a solution might be to have the court book served by some form of registered post, on the assumption that that form of delivery is still available these days.
I'll make inquiries and efforts, Your Honour.
The other alternative would be to, well, I suppose the on one view most efficient way of dealing with this and ensuring that the document has been received would be to arrange for some sort of door-to-door courier. I don't want to put the state to undue expense, but that would perhaps be one way of ensuring that the material actually reached the applicant.
Yes, Your Honour. It might be a good opportunity now for us all to see what that door is. If we could, through you, Your Honour, please confirm the applicant's address.
Certainly. Ms. Choi, do you have access to your email from where you're sitting at the moment?
Yes, sir, I have.
All right. I want you to send far be it from wanting to encourage further emails to my associate. I want you to send an email to my associate and to Mr. Cale, simply setting out your present residential address.
Yes, sir, I will. Would you want me to do right now?
Do that now, please.
Yes, sir, I
Right
will.
now.
I will hold on
And I'm
to.
going, all right, just a moment, and I'm going to pause and do nothing further until my associate and Mr. Cale have received that email.
Yes, sir.
Because it involves some of my ex-brothers, plus I'm very much sure of that. We better have a look at it. It's the sort of thing those cases often settle. Just let me know when you get this email.
Your Honor, I just emailed.
All right, just a moment, and we'll wait till we receive that.
Thank you.
Mr. Carl, did you receive that? My associate has it.
No, Your Honour, I expect it's still passing through the 3 or 4 satellites it requires to reach us.
Right.
May take a little longer.
That's all right. Let me know when you've received it. I won't do anything until we've sorted that out. So, yeah. If you want.
If Your Honour receives it, if Your Honour's associate receives it before me, I'm content to be forwarded a copy by your associate.
My associate's just sending it to me now, Mr. Cale. I just want to have a look at it before I...
Of course.
Mr. Cale, the address in part is 32 DASANRO, new word JUNGKU, Seoul, South Korea. Does that correspond to what you had previously?
Sorry, is number 13/903. Namsan Town
Yes.
A. Yes.
Thank you. Just a moment.
Thank you.
Does that correspond, at least in part, with what you had, Mr. Cale?
I'm just checking the emails that I've received from the applicant. I don't have any postal address for her readily to hand. If you just bear with me for a moment.
No, that's okay. Look, it probably doesn't matter. My associate, just a moment, Mr. Cale. My associate will send you this now, Mr. Cale.
Thank you, Your Honour.
We'll see if that gets you any more quickly.
Okay, thank you, Your Honour.
I'll just pause for a moment.
Your Honor.
Just a moment, please, Miss Choi. Just a moment.
received it yet, Your Honour, but I wouldn't want to hold you up. I'm sure it will come through in due course. And
No, that's all right. I'd like you to have it now.
yes.
Just so that we're. It's just been sent to you, as it were, alone, Mr. Colonel.
Thank you, Your Honour. Yes, Your Honour, I've received that now. Thank you.
All right then. All right, and Ms. Choi, you can confirm with me, can you, that the address that you've just given us is your present residential address in Korea?
Yes,
Thank you.
Your Honor,
All right.
could you
Yes.
clarify whether the Mr. Carr here has received my email, which Your Honor received?
I'm not sure that he has, but he will receive it. My associate has forwarded it on to him, so that matter is covered. Mr. Cale, in terms of... No, just a moment, please. Mr. Cale, how long do you want to serve this court book?
Can we say 4 weeks, Your Honour? I'm just concerned about the vagaries of international mail and couriers at this stage.
Sure, that will mean that I'll have to give the applicant some time after that to respond. And she wants 4 weeks as well.
Would Your Honour be happy with 2 weeks, with liberty to apply if we strike some
Sure,
problem?
I think if we can narrow it, the only reason, or part of the reason for that is, Mr. Carl, that I'm supposed to be going on extended leave later in the year.
Yes, Your Honour.
I would want to deal with this matter before I left. So, if I give you, Mr. Carl, 2 weeks, and if I give the applicant 3 weeks to respond, and if I give you a week or 2 weeks after that to file any further submissions, do you want to say anything against the timetable of that nature?
No, Your Honour, one week is fine for me to respond.
On the understanding that if there is an issue about anything, the matter can be put back before me. If I hear nothing from anybody, I will assume that the orders that I'm about to make have been complied with, and I can just go ahead and determine the matter on the papers.
May I please report? Yes.
All right. Ms. Choi, what I'm presently thinking of doing is this. Firstly, I am considering making an order requiring the court book to be provided to you by mail in hard copy within the next 2 weeks. I will then give you 3 weeks to provide your material. I will then give the respondent a week to respond to that, and at that point things will be closed, and I will then proceed to determine the matter on the papers. Do you want to say anything about that proposed timetable?
Yes, Your Honor, please give me opportunity of reply for 3 days after respondent's reply after.
No, you can't reply to the respondent's reply. You've brought the proceedings.
Yes, but I'm a self-represented without the legal advice in Korea, and then I'm socially disadvantaged person. Please give me the special opportunity.
Well, this can't go on forever.
Just the last one.
How long do you want?
3 days. After 3 days. Only 3 days.
Mr. Carr, do you want to be heard against that?
I'm in Your Honour's hands on that point.
All right then. I'll just give some...
Your Honor, could you please give me leave to email this court my material?
I don't need to give you leave to do. But when you say email this court, what do you mean?
I mean, I mean, after I, okay, would you want me to respond by mail or email to
By
the
mail,
mail?
yes.
Then I need at least 6 weeks just in case, because I'm worried. I have to consider, New South Wales coronavirus situation. Now it's shut down, but I'm not sure about the coronavirus
All right.
condition.
All right. I don't want this matter dragging on to that point. Mr. Cale, are you content if any material upon which the applicant wishes to rely is served by email?
I am content, Your Honour,
All right,
assuming it's received.
I'll do it that way then. All right. I'll just give some short reasons. These proceedings were listed before me for hearing this morning. The applicant is presently unrepresented and has appeared in the proceedings via ABL link from Korea, where she apparently presently resides. Prior to the hearing this morning and between about 8:15 a.m. and 10 a.m. My associate was, to put it simply, bombarded with a plethora of emails from the applicant attaching various materials upon which she said that she wished to rely. There were certainly well in excess of 20 emails, and the material attached to them totaled more than 3,000 pages. Because of, firstly, the hour at which those emails were received, and secondly, the volume of the material attached to them, I was obviously not given any opportunity to make any meaningful assessment of any of that material prior to 10:15 a.m. When the hearing commenced, the applicant claimed that she had not received the court book relied upon by the respondent. Mr. Cale, who appears for the respondent, informed me, and I accept, that an email attaching the court book was sent to the applicant some days ago. It is more than a little curious that the applicant maintains that she has not received it. But of course, her assertion that she has not received it places me in an invidious position, particularly in circumstances where she is a self-represented litigant. The transcript of today's proceedings will reflect the fact that in the course of discussions with the parties as to how best to resolve the situation, two matters emerged. Firstly, the applicant indicated that she was prepared to review the volume of material upon which she relied and to remove approximately half of it. Secondly, the applicant informed me that providing that she was given an opportunity to put such material before the court as she wished to rely upon, she was content to have the matter dealt with, as she put it, quote, on the papers, close quote, full stop. The transcript will reflect that when the applicant informed me of that, I took steps to make sure that the plaintiff clearly understood what was meant by a hearing, quote, on the papers, close quote. I'm satisfied, having made those inquiries, that the plaintiff fully understands that in proceeding that way, there will not be a further hearing before me, and that I will ultimately deal with the issues that are raised between the parties based upon the written material which is provided to me. This is clearly a matter which has a long and, some might say, tortured history. It is important in those circumstances that it be dealt with efficiently and expeditiously, and that the issues between the parties be resolved. In those circumstances, I make the following orders. 1. The hearing date of today is vacated. 2. I direct the respondent to serve on the applicant within 14 days a copy of the material referred to as the, quote, respondent's apostrophe S court book. Such service to be effected either by prepaid registered post or by door-to-door international courier. 3. I direct the applicants to file and to serve any material upon which she wishes to rely just one moment. I shouldn't. It was too long. Where do I get up to me? By 1 September 2021.
Oh, your owner, not
Yes.
not 1 September, please, not 1 September. Oh,
No, that gives you 3 weeks from when you're to be given the court book, Ms. Choi. That is ample time.
oh, 31st of August or 2nd of September, I prefer. 31st of August or 2nd of September.
The previous order will nominate the date of the 31st of August and not the 1st of September.
No, oh, thank you very much, Your
Just a
Honor.
moment, please. Just a moment. What's the next number, mate? 4. 4. the respondent is to provide any further written submissions by 7 September 2021. The applicant is to reply with any further submissions by 10 September 2021. For the purposes of these orders, I note the following. 1. Filing and service of any material by the plaintiff may be effected by email. 2. Consistent with the earlier observations that I have made regarding today's proceedings, I note that I will proceed to determine the matter on the papers at some time after 10 September 2021. Mr. Cale, do you wish to say anything further about that timetable?
No, thank you, Your Honour.
Ms. Choi, do you wish to say anything further about those orders?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, you read our materials briefly, even briefly. If it's possible, could you please give me the question? I mean, is your owner or what direction? I mean, is like your any topic your owner wants me to write focus.
I don't understand what you're asking.
So simply, what do you want me to write about? What is the
Ms. Choi,
yes.
this is your case. You're conducting the case. It's not up to me to give you advice as to how to conduct it or what material to include. You're conducting the case, and that's something that you have to address. Anything further?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Your
you.
Honor.
I will adjourn. Thank you. Thank you for your assistance, Mr. Carr.
Thank you
Thank you.
very much, Your.